Check, check, Panthers Nation. What up, dude? It's Aaron Duncan here bringing you another Panthers video, another installment in our training camp roster evaluation. Today's video, we got them boys that play wide receiver that catch them passes, but we also got to combine it with the other dudes that catch them passes, the tight ends. I got both groups going today. We're going to evaluate Pardon my dog. We're going to evaluate the roster, look at what we have, and just talk about my outlook and predictions player to watch and whatever. So you guys let me know down below in the comments how you feel about a wide receiver position overall, and what are your expectations for this group as a whole with a new quarterback on this team. Let me know down below in the comments. But before I give you all the spiel from me, you guys make sure you hit the subscribe button down below if you're looking to find more Panthers content and updates through training camp as the season nears. I do recap and analysis of the squad, so make sure you be a part of that. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you get notification every time I drop a video, and give this video a thumbs up because it doesn't cost you a thing and it really helps me out in the algorithm. But also, if you do want something that's going to cost you a thing, you can hit the thanks button down below. It's kind of like a little tip or support, almost like a super chat for creators to help show your appreciation, because I do this thing for the love, man. So showing any appreciation to me, I appreciate you. It's a whole circle of appreciation, all right? But of course, let's look at the depth chart that we have. Obviously, this group is led by our star-studded wide receiver, DJ Moore. We got the infamous Robbie Anderson, of course, Teresh Marshall Jr., and Rashard Higgins, the latest addition, and a couple other young guys on this group. But for the offseason moves with this group, it really pretty much stayed pat with who we had. We added Rashard Higgins, the former Browns wide receiver. We did this before. We even signed Baker Mayfield, so it looks a lot like it makes more sense now. Obviously, they crazily had some chemistry last year in the past years with each other in Cleveland. So we'll be looking for Rashard Higgins to make an impact on this team as a whole. But obviously, retention was the name of the game for this position when it comes to offseason moves. We extended DJ Moore. Obviously, we extended Ian Thomas, of course. And like I said, Rashard Higgins was that addition. But this tells me that they felt pretty good as this group overall. They just need to get the production from the quarterback position. It tells you that the wide receivers weren't the problem. It was the guy throwing them the ball because they can't throw it to themselves. And I got to agree wholeheartedly, because we had guys like that, but keeping a guy like DJ Moore around is major. Now, a lot of people will snuff their nose when he got that $20 million contract and became the 8th highest paid wide receiver at the time. But after all these other wide receivers started getting paid like bukus of money, after Christian Kirk got signed by the Jaguars and broke the bank for him, it's looking like a great deal to be able to get DJ Moore for $20 million per year for the next 3 to 4 seasons, especially with a guy that's a perennial 1,000-yard wide receiver, even with the inconsistent quarterback play, because DJ Moore has not had the same quarterback throwing to him in back-to-back seasons since he has been in the NFL. Crazy stat for a guy that's had 3,000-yard years in a row. Nevertheless, I'm looking for a breakout year from DJ. But the position outlook overall, I think this is one of the most underrated groups in the NFL, just because DJ Moore doesn't get the respect he deserves, obviously. I think if he had a quarterback and got in the end zone more, he would get that respect and move into that top 15, top 12 wide receiver range in the league. But we can only shoulda, coulda, woulda for a certain amount of time, and eventually we're going to have to produce. But Robbie Anderson returns as the number 2 wide receiver. He's going to have a bounce back year. He only had 500 yards last year, half of what we had the year before when he was catching passes from Teddy Bridgewater. I expect a big year from Teresh Marshall too. I would love for him to eventually take over that wide receiver 2 position, because he brings certain skills and combination of size and ability that we haven't had in this Panthers wide receiver core in a while. But we need production and ball distribution. That's what I'm going to be looking for. With Baker Mayfield being added, he's one of the best deep ball throwers in the NFL when he's healthy. So being able to stop leaving yards on the field with underthrown deep passes to DJ Moore or to Robbie Anderson or even Teresh Marshall, I expect this offense to explode with the type of arm that Baker Mayfield has and the weapons that we have at this wide receiver position. Now for the tight end, with Ben McAdoo being added, he's been known for using the tight end. Even in New York with the Giants, he didn't have the best or the sexiest tight ends, but he got pretty solid production from the group. I'll be looking to see what we get from Ian Thomas. He got that new deal. Wasn't a big bag, but he got a deal when a lot of people think that he shouldn't been on the team anymore. I was one of those people that said that I thought that Ian Thomas may be a camp casualty. but they solidified him and read up him for a few couple years. Now, Tommy Trimble, the rookie, he showed a lot of flashes last year, and I want to see what he has overall because he got the end around against the Texans. He caught some good sideline passes against the Texans. He had a pretty solid game in catching passes in the Washington game from Cam Newton. So the potential is there. A lot of people felt like Tommy Trimble was very underused from a receiving aspect in college, even his rookie year, but he's a great blocker. If he could put the full package together, I'll be anxious to see what a guy as athletic as him can do in this new offense with Ben McAdoo calling plays. But my biggest question marks for these groups as a whole is how will ball distribution go and what kind of production will we get? When I say ball distribution, I mean us not being so top heavy from a production standpoint. DJ Moore was a 1,000-yard receiver, 1,100 yards to be exact, but the next closest producing pass catcher was Robbie Anderson with only 517 yards. And the one after that was Christian McCaffrey with 383. And we all know Christian McCaffrey didn't even play a fraction of the year. So this is a bad sign because after a while, teams started locking in on DJ. His production kind of tailed off. I think it was a byproduct of Christian McCaffrey not being in the offense, so they focused on the next best weapon. So that makes sense. But with having a full group, hopefully, and getting production from other guys, they can't exactly key in on DJ. Or if they do key in on DJ, somebody else has to be able to step up from the wide receiver standpoint. That's why I hope Teresh can have a good year. I hope a guy like Rashard Higgins that has some chemistry with Baker Mayfield can have a big year. And Robbie, he's got to get back to somewhere close to that 1,000-yard wide receiver that we saw that got that new 2-year extension after last year when he had a little mini holdout. Nevertheless, I want to see evenly distributed passes to everybody. I want to see production from everybody as a whole. From the tight end position, I have a couple questions there because they didn't produce either. Both of our top two tight ends only had 180 yards apiece. 180 yards. I mean, some wide receivers have that in the game. So for seeing our tight ends only do that, it's piss poor. We have to get anything. I'm not really setting any kind of high expectations, but 500 yards from our leading tight end would be great. I would love to get 500 yards from Ian Thomas or Tommy Tremble, or a combination of both getting somewhere in the 800 to 900 yard range. But we need some kind of production from the tight end. So will we get that? That is my biggest question for the tight ends. But my player to watch for this position, who I've already named, is Teresh Marshall Jr., the second-round pick from last year's draft that had a great camp, a great preseason, a great everything, the joint practices. This guy showed crazy flashes, and the Panthers were concerned about him coming off the injuries from LSU, so they tried to bring him on slow. But according to Teresh, he felt like by the time the season came, he was good. He didn't really elaborate on what was going on behind the scenes, but he felt like he could have done more had he got more opportunities. He just didn't get those opportunities, and obviously with the struggles of Sam Darnold and the removal of Christian McCaffrey, this handicapped and hamstrung our offense as a whole. So hopefully with a lot more balance, like I said, from this group, we can see the emergence of a Teresh Marshall Jr., who is a guy that a lot of people say that reminds them of Muhsin Muhammad because his smoothness, his ability to play outside in the slot, his bigger body, but also the ability to be just as explosive and high point passes. I like those Muhsin Muhammad comparisons. I'm rubbing my hands like Birdman. You know what I'm saying? To see this guy have production. So he is my player to watch. I'm looking for him to have a breakout year. It's like I said, to capitalize on a good preseason, a good offseason, and hopefully parlay that into production on the field and give us wins and production from this offense. So you guys let me know down below in the comments, who is your player to watch and what is your biggest question mark for this wide receiver position? Because like I said, I already gave you mine, so let me know what you think about mine and give me yours. But without further ado, I'm Aaron Duncan here signing off. You guys make sure you are subscribed and hit the bell icon so you don't miss anything. Check out the rest of the videos in my training camp series evaluating the roster. I'll see you next time. Peace.